I'm going to the police academy.
That's the Citizens Police Academy, Lance.
That's even better. Let's go!
Get everything you want, when you want it, and where you want it, on any mobile or digital device and viewable screen, including that big screen in your living room. Get it on the go, at night, or wherever you want it. 24/7, WBONTV.com. Learn it, love it, use it.
Grendel and Morton with WBON TV, and it is time again for Citizens Police Academy with Lance, the Lawman Gaither. How goes it?
It was great last night. We had the, what's it called, the HAPTA people come in, the drug...
HIDA.
HIDA,
people,
yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was the undercover guys. I couldn't film because, of course, they're undercover.
Right.
But it was interesting to see what it's like versus, like, actual undercover police work versus what you see in movies and stuff.
Oh, it's very interesting. I thought they had a lot of good information when I was there. Did they go over the drugs while you were there last night?
Yes, they did.
Show you the examples?
Yes, it was crazy how they showed, like, this. It wasn't real heroin and stuff, but they had, like,
Did you ask?
Someone else did.
Okay.
But they had the sample size of a lethal dose of heroin, of fentanyl, and carfentanil, and the carfentanil was just
You can't even see it. It
one or
looks like
two just little grains of
sand.
salt.
Yeah.
Yes, and
That's
that was
crazy.
all it would take to
lethal-
kill a person.
Yeah,
yes.
a lethal dose. And so the problem comes in when you have been using this much heroin, then somebody laces it with a little bit of that, and all of a sudden, it's bad news. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say bad news.
Yeah.
What else did you learn last night?
It was also cool, just the process that they go where he talked about how sometimes they'll, to avoid having their cover blown, they'll have people who they know have drugs in their car. They'll have someone follow them, but they don't have any probable cause to stop them besides saying, yeah, we saw our undercover guy report that he had drugs. So they can't just say that because they can't blow their undercover person's cover, of course, because they're undercover.
Right. So what did you learn about HIDA? High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area is the acronym. Did you find out exactly what that entails?
Well, there's several different HIDA groups throughout the country. Ours, local one, is comprised of Richmond PD, EKU Police, I think, as well as DEA and FBI, and they have, I think they said they went down to South America for a training exercise.
Wow.
It was really cool to see. They had a whole bunch of different police forces, and also these guys, they don't act like regular cops.
They do not. They do not look like regular cops. They do not act like regular cops. Their speech patterns, everything is different.
Yeah, they have, like some of them have long hair and beards, just would never think they were a cop, which I guess is what they want.
I think that's the point. Yeah. So what else?
It was cool. Talking about kind of like the history of drug use in Richmond, I guess is what you could say. Just how the fads of what's popular is kind of gone.
Yeah, and it kind of is almost secular, where something will come into popularity and then something will take it over, but then maybe it'll come back and kind of rotates through. So I thought that was very interesting. Things that you don't necessarily think are even an issue anymore, but they are.
Yeah, it was actually kind of, he said cocaine's actually making a comeback.
That was one of the things I was thinking of that he said last year. I don't want to say because I wasn't sure, but that's what I thought, because you don't really consider that anymore. You think of that as very Miami Vice 1980, but apparently it's still an issue.
Yeah, he also talks a little bit about how drugs are made, surprisingly, which was kind of interesting, like the history of how they were made. And another interesting story he told was about Russia, how they weaponized fentanyl.
Really?
Yeah, he talked about it was the hostage crisis in the 80s or 90s. They took control of the theater. Do you remember that?
I don't remember him mentioning that.
Well, do you remember what happened? Like,
vaguely.
yeah, of course, that was probably long before I was born.
Yeah.
Well, what year was that? Been like mid-80s, 90s?
I don't know, we're going to look really unintelligent here, but I think it's the mid-80s.
Yes. All right. It was before I was born, so I have excuses. She doesn't, though.
What are you saying?
I don't know.
I think I was old in the 80s.
No, you were probably a kid.
I was a kid.
All right.
I was for sure a kid. Anyway, all right, so this was HIDA week. We discovered the drugs and what's going on here in Madison County, what the problems are. What does next week bring?
Next week is the active shooter training simulation. We're going to an elementary school. I can't check which one.
That's pretty intense.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
So you get to really gear up, get your weapons, and enter different scenarios and different situations where it'll be like a classroom or whatever, and it's live action right there. So it should be interesting.
Are they use like airsoft guns, right?
Sure. Maybe.
I'm looking forward to it. They said just to wear something you don't mind getting a little bit dirty.
Yeah, it's intense.
All right, looks like we're
Gonna
ready
learn a
for
lot.
a exciting finale.
We didn't say what week was this.
This was week 9. We got week 10 coming up next.
Nuts. And then you're done?
We got our graduation week after that, and we're done.
Gone by fast.
Yeah, it went by real fast.
Okay, great. All right, we'll be back next week with Citizens Police Academy for ERU. Is that what it is?
Maybe,
Emergency Response Unit.
I think.
Okay, ERU is next week. We'll be back here to find out everything that Lance is learning. See you next time on Citizens Police Academy. I'm Gwendolyn Morton.
And I'm Lance the Lawman Gaither.
Bye.
Bye.